Good morning. Right, so another Wednesday open at Redhill Fishery. There's a few here today as well. There's like 15, I think, or 16 here today. So it's spread. The match is spread over two lakes. We've got Sophie's and Molly's. I've drawn peg 19 on Sophie's, which is okay. It's not boss area at all. Like 2, 3, 4. That's like boss area there. Mark that won last Wednesday. He's on 5, so I think he's going to be difficult to beat. This peg's very shallow. This is why it's so good in the summer. It's a brilliant peg in the summer. So I don't know if that's going to be any good today, but I'm going to fish long. I can fish towards like peg 2 where I know the fish live. The only thing I will say is that we've had a load of rain on Saturday. No, what day was it? Monday, Tuesday. And as you can see, I've got a pipe just there, and it's coming in like the Zambezi. So I don't know if that's going to make any difference. I'm really hoping it doesn't ruin my peg. It could push all the fish out of my peg because it turns over the water layers. But I'm really hoping it's not. I'm going to fish long to try and get away from that water. I'm going to fish long with micro pellets and expanders like I always do. I am going to start short. I'm going to start at about 10 metres today, just where it starts to come up, because the shelf goes a long way here. So I'm going to start at like 10 metres with pellets, micros and expanders, just where it starts to come up, and then I'm going to go to 14 and 16. But I have brought like 4 pints of maggots with me. I'm going to throw maggots in like 3 foot. I've plumbed up to 3 foot down to my right. I did want to throw them that way because it's just nice when you're fishing, you can throw maggots to your left, but obviously with that water coming in, that's just not going to be viable at all. So I'm going to throw maggots in like 3 foot. And that could be a good. I'm hoping I don't get bitted out on that line, but it could be a brilliant line late on. So really simple approach. I've set up 3 rigs. Apparently there has been quite a few fish starting being caught in the edge, but it seems to be the pegs that are catching in the edge are the pegs like down the bottom end where it's like 2.5 to 3 foot in the edge. So on here you've got literally like 18 inches, and I don't think they'll come in 18 inches. I really don't. So yeah, we'll. That's so I'm just going to keep it really simple. 3 rigs. It's really nice day's weather today. It's still cold. It's like 2-3 degrees, but there's no wind, so fishing's going to be really nice. Yeah, I think that's about it. Really nice simple match. Peg 19 on Sophie's. There's a few more carp in this lake than Molly's, which is always nice because it gives you a chance of winning the whole thing. They do pay out in continental today, so you're fishing your separate little matches, because normally one lake's better than the other. So yeah, but it's going to be. I'm sure I'll get some bites for you. I don't know if I'm going to win from here with that water coming in. I really don't fancy it with that. Like any peg I've ever been to in the winter where you've got like water turning over like that, it just turns out to be rubbish. But I'm hoping I still get some bites for you, and if I can still put a decent weight together. Right, so that's the start of the match. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to start at about 10 metres where the shelf just comes up. I'm going to throw some maggots there. That's like 3 foot deep there. And I'm just going to sprinkle in some micros at 10 metres. Just see if I can get a half decent start on this line. Because every time I've come on this lake, because there's more carp in this lake than the other lakes, I always tend to have a decent start short. Just a few micros, just sprinkle them in, make a bit of noise and start. I've got to be honest though, when I've been setting up, I've seen about 10 to 15 fish top, and they're all topping right in the middle of the lake, like peg 2, peg 3, peg 4, around there. So I don't know if I'm going to have a decent start here or not, or it's just going to be a bit slow to start off with because I'm not on the fish. I'm going to wait for them to move down to me, if they do. That's a really good sign though. I've dropped my rig in and I'm fishing like 3 to 4 metres away from where that water's coming in, the line of that water coming in, and my float's not moving, which I'm really happy about because I didn't want to drop my rig in and it start towing. because if it starts towing and you're fishing with pellets, it's really, really difficult. Because if your float's moving with pellets, I just don't feel like you're going to catch properly. But by the looks of things, most people are starting on the long pole. Got Tony down on about peg, what's that, peg 9, and I've taken him coaching 2 or 3 times, so he knows exactly what to do. He's been doing brilliant here. He won the last match up on pennies with like 70 odd pound. So he's going to be a good gauge as well on what's going on. His peg's totally different to mine. It's really deep down there. That's what they call the dam wall. So that's obviously where it's dammed off before the lakes drop off. So it's a lot deeper. I think he's got like 3.5, 4 foot in the edges there, and it's like 6 to 7 foot on a long pole, where you can knock off a good like 18 inches to 2 foot for each line on this peg. But this is probably why this peg's so good on in the summer, and that down that end wall, all pegs 3, 4, that sort of area is so good in the winter because it's just that bit deeper. I felt on Tilly's Lake last week that all the fish wanted to be up on that top end, the deepest end. There's like a massive ball of them up on like peg 14, 15 round there. So, but no one's gone in and got one straight away. The water temperature's 5.2, which is warmer than the air temperature. I think the air temperature when I got it was like 2 degrees, but it will come up a bit today with that sun coming out. Right, so Mark last week, he caught a load of fish on bread. He fishes with a jigger and actually flicks the jigger past his pole and lets it all come down towards him. So it all sinks ultra slow, and he caught a lot of fish fishing like that. But I've just noticed he's shipped straight out 14.5 metres and he's feeding. But he has got bread on the hook, 100%. I just see it flick. I just seen him flick it out. So that's something to bear in mind. He's still fishing bread, even though the water's absolutely chocolate. Right, I've tapped some micros and I've not had an indication, so I'm just gonna tap a few more in. Oh, guy to my left's just gone straight out long and hooked one. Oh, it's come off. He's fishing bread as well. A lot of people fishing bread over here at the moment, which is something I don't really want to do. Like, I come last Wednesday and I caught £94 all on pellets, and I just felt like pellets are really good. You know, every time I've ever been, these pellets are really, really good. And in this colour of water, surely bread can't be right. It just can't be. How can they see bread in that colour? You need something smelly on so they can come up and find it. It's a little bit disappointing. I thought, I've not started my stopwatch. I thought I might go straight in here and get a quick bite, maybe some carp, but I'm just not keen on this water going in like that. Why would a fish this time of year want to come and sit in like water that's flowing that hard, you know? I just don't make sense to me at all. I think Tony down the bottom's got one on, which is a good sign because I know exactly how he'll be fishing. So the last few days we've had a ridiculous amount of rain. That's why this water's coming in that pipe like that. And the water's gone absolutely chocolate. So it might be a bit of a slow start today. But from memory though, I drew a peg up on mollies a little while ago, a few weeks ago, and I fished a very similar to match to what I'm going to do today. And I did start short, and I had to be really, I remember it now, I won that lake with, oh there we go, yes. I won that lake with like 50 odd pounds, and I had to be really, really patient, just like that. Don't seem like a big fish, I don't know what I'm asking of them. Might be a slightly smaller F1, maybe. Take your time with the first one, no need to rush. Oh no, woke up a bit. Oh no, it's a carp. Thought it was going to be a little F1. Woke up. Right, that's a brilliant start. That's exactly why I started where I am. Because I know how many carp are in this lake, and starting short for carp with pellets is definitely the way to go most of the time. So that's a brilliant start. Alright, I'll see if I can just plop in and get one more for you. My dropper just slid down. One thing I have been doing, which is for me, I know a lot of people don't agree with it, but for me it's massive. I've been fishing with like a number 8 shot, 3 inches from my hook. And for me, the other week when I come, I was fishing long, and I was fishing with like a number 9, 6 inches from the hook. And I just didn't feel like I was seeing enough. Like some of the bites were just like tiny little indications. You lift up and you've got like a £3 F1 on. Now for me that's not right. And I don't know if anybody's watched some of the underwater footage that some of the lads have been doing. Like some of the fish you hook when you fish with like expanders and micros and stuff, they're on for like 6 or 7 seconds before you see the bite. And that makes perfect sense to me why I was getting those tiny little indications lifting up and they're on. So that's why I changed from like a number 9 to a number 8 and put it like 3 to 4 inches from the hook. And now every time since I've started doing that, the bites haven't been so little dinky, they're a bit more like little quick sharp bites. Which is important, because if you do get a day where the conditions aren't perfect, that's really important, because some of those days where you get those tiny indications where you're not seeing enough, if the conditions aren't perfect, you just won't see a bite. Right, if I can go in and just get another one now fairly quickly, that's an amazing start. That carp was probably £3. I don't know if I sprinkled enough micros in there. I think maybe with this colour of water and the noise from that pipe, they might not be able to hear the bait going in as well today, and they might not be able to see it as well. So I might have to feed more, if that makes sense, to try and bring them into my peg. See, my float is moving a touch with that toe, but I'm just dropping that back shot in the water and it is holding it dead still, so hopefully that ain't affecting my bait too much on where I'm putting it in. It is a bit of a nightmare. It's not nice when your float's moving like that in tow when you're fishing with pellets. I'm not going to wait too long before feeding again, to be honest, because that first feed, that little feed then I done after I caught that fish, I didn't feel like there was enough bait. Guy in the corner's got one, he's got a kinder pot on, so I'm guessing he's feeding. sprinkle a few more in from a bit of, I'm just going to tap them in from like 2.5 foot above the water, that, just to try and make a little bit more noise, try and bring one in with peg. One thing I did forget to do though, oh, that was a little indication, something definitely come to those micros then. One thing I did forget to do is when I caught that fish then, when I was shipping out, I forgot to feed my maggots. It's just so important that you get into a rhythm that every single time you ship out, you feed your maggots twice. So if you can do that for like 3 hours, by the time you drop in on it, it should be really good. Well, hopefully, if I don't get bitted out. There's another little indication, I think. But that float is moving in that toe from that water going in. So annoying. Just going to drop that back shot down, my first back shot, because I always fish with 2 back shot. I'm just going to drop that first back shot down into the water and just try and keep everything submerged as possible. But I'm not going to feed my maggots whilst I'm holding my pole, because I'm holding my float dead still against my back shot. So if I feed my maggots now, I will move my float, and the last thing I want to do is jerk my float at any point. Come on, give me one more, come on. I don't usually like lifting and dropping, I like just sitting there, but with there being some carp in the area, I might just try a little lift and drop. Most people that are striking, and I've only seen 2 fish caught on this lake, me and the kiddie up in the left hand corner, and most people that are striking, most people have started feeding rather than just sitting out there on bread at a certain depth. It's really interesting. I can't believe that ain't gone under again. It's really weird. Normally you get, once if you hook one short on venues like this, you just go straight back in and hook another. Normally anyway. What I might do, I'm not going to give it too long, to be honest, because it's obvious today that this is going to be quite a tricky match. No one's really gone in and started catching like they did on Tilly's last week, so 50-60 pound could be a good weight today. So what I'm thinking, I'll probably give it another couple of minutes on this line, and then I might just go straight out long and just trying to work my peg long. I've plumbed up in 4 different spots, 14.5 metres left and right, 16 metres left and right. Oh yes, got one. Oh, just small fish. Oh, I think that's just a little stocky F1 or something. Yep, little stocky F1, which is fine. It's a good sign. That could have been £3. Right, I'll leave it there. I'm going to carry on fishing short just for a couple more minutes, and then I'll buzz on in a minute. I'll turn on again when I'm gone, when I've gone long. Right, so a bit of a weird start to the match, to be honest. Started short, caught the carp, then I caught that tiny little stocky, and then no more bites, which I thought was weird. I thought I might catch 4 or 5 short after I've caught that one, but nothing. It's really, really strange. So I went long, and then I've gone long. I tapped in my micros like what I always have been, what I can always do. and straight away my float flew under. I caught another little stockie, like the one I caught short, just like that big, tiny. And then I just caught 4 of them in 4 chucks, which is, I don't know if he stopped them this week or something without telling anyone, but I caught 4 of those little stockies in as many chucks real quick. But I have just caught like a £3 F1, just out of the blue, just sat there. So I'm really hoping now I'll get a decent little run of some slightly bigger fish. See that indication straight away? It's another little stockie. He must have stocked them this week. He must have. Because I've never ever hooked one of them in my life coming here. Look, just a tiny little stocky F1. Oh, it's popped off the net. But that is not the fish I'm going to need to catch to win today. Need to catch those bigger F1s. So what I've got to do is try and work out a way of feeding and fishing to not catch them and to catch the big F1s, but I don't really know how at the moment. It's a little bit annoying as well because it's a lot of effort fishing this long to catch those little stockies. Fishing this long is a lot of effort. But we'll just keep going at the moment, just keep going. Maybe I'll catch a few of them, and then once those big F1s properly move in, then hopefully I won't catch those stockies anymore. But I've got a carp £3, I've got an F1 £3, and I've got like 5 or 6 of those stockies. So I'm doing alright at the moment. I think Tony down the bottom's got 2 fish. But look, every fish in this lake is just topping in front of like peg 4, peg 5, around there. I find it difficult to see someone down that end of the lake at some point not having a really good run. It's just, it looks absolutely solid down there. Well, if they start feeding, it could be all over for me up here. I don't know if you saw that last fish just topped then. But that's where everything's been topping, to be honest. But they're obviously an odd fish here this end because I've caught 2, and I'm catching these little stockies, and I'm getting loads of little indications on my float. So I reckon there's definitely there's plenty of those little stockies in my peg at the moment. Anyway, but I just got to try and find out a way of catching those big old F1s rather than those stockies. Maybe feeding more. I think how I'm fishing's right. It's just what I'm going to have to do is just keep going through them. Let's see, another one. Oh, so annoying. No, look at the size of them. He must have stopped them this week. Look. But to go out all the way out there, tapping my pellets to catch one of them is a bit of effort. So wish I would have brought some corn. I could have just slipped a bit of corn on the hook. But I find it difficult to see those little stockies staying in your peg once those big F1s are there. So maybe it's just a case of carry on fishing. And hopefully you'll go through them. Right, let's have another go. Hopefully we can catch a massive F1 this chuck. Maybe a touch more bait as well. those stockies are definitely coming off the bottom as well, because when I tap my bait in, like 6 to 8 seconds after, I get an odd indication as if they're coming up off the bottom to try and meet the pellets. But this water coming in is creating like a ripple, so it's not the easiest to see my float today. Like normally on a day like today when it's absolutely flat calm, you can see absolutely everything, but today you're not, because of this water coming in. Tony's actually got another one on now down that bottom end. I think he's going to be really difficult to beat today personally, because I think there's every fish I've seen top's been down there. See, and I've got these stockies in the bag, which is rather annoying. Weird thing is, no one else is catching them. No one else is catching these little stockies. But if you were going to stock an F1 in a lake, the way this lake is, you would stock them here, because the road comes up right behind the peg here. You would bosh them in, so they might just be sat here. Just going to carry on feeding these maggots. I really hope I catch on that line later. If I can catch on that line, it'd be good, really good. Right, come on. I'm just going to tap these micros in again. Look at that, that's unbelievable. Oh mate, this is so frustrating. At the moment, I can't actually fish, because as soon as my bait's getting to the bottom, you're just hooking a tiny little stocky. This is so annoying. Bit of a frustrating day today. This water coming in is annoying me a bit. These stockies are annoying me. But it could be worse. Could be sat on the Gloucester Canal. Going to keep going for a minute, and then what I'll probably do, I'll stop filming, because I've got a feeling I'm going to have a bit of a nightmare with these for a bit, and I'll start filming again once I've cracked how to maybe try and catch an odd bigger fish. Fishing short, I only hooked one, so it might be a case of just fishing short right away from those stockies. Float is all over the place. It's absolutely solid with them out there, those stockies. Look. You must have stopped them. Look at the size of them. Right, so I'll stop filming, and then I'll start again once I've worked out what to do. Right, so we are, what's the time? 1:05. We are 2.5 hours in, with 3 hours to go, because they fish 5.5 hours here at Redhill. And I'm not going to lie, I'm having an absolute nightmare. Well, I say a nightmare, I don't feel like there's much I can do. Like, so basically I've started short on pellets, caught that little carp, like £3, then I caught a stocky, then I went long, started catching all those little stockies, and I thought if I just kept fishing, eventually they'll just go out of my peg and I'll be left with decent fish. But it hasn't been the case at all. Like, I stopped catching those stockies and I've literally caught no F1s. I'd started a new line to my right at 14.5 metres and started again just tapping in pellets. I caught like 2 little stockies, then eventually I hooked a decent fish, and that snagged me up just halfway back at like 11 metres, just snagged me up something on the bottom there, probably a tree branch or something like that. So then I went to 16 metres thinking maybe those bigger fish are sat a little bit further out. Never had a bite. It's just like, oh god. So then I thought I would drop back in short quickly where I caught that carp at the start, because I thought there might be a chance of another carp. Never had a bite. And then I thought, well, there ain't a lot else I can do really. Like, I know pellets are the right bait, because Tony down there's catching on it. He's absolutely destroying this lake. Like, he's caught steady from the start. He's obviously doing it dead right. I've took him on 3 or 4 coachings and he knows exactly what he's doing now. And he's catching really, really well. Like, it's probably game over for the lake, to be honest. And then so I dropped in on my maggots, expecting to catch like roach, perch, an odd F1. Dropped in on that, never had a bite. I'm just like, what the hell? I honestly do. I try not to make excuses, but I just don't think this water that's absolutely pumping in here is doing my peg any good whatsoever. You can imagine, like, it's pumping in that like hard that all the water layers are going to be turning over, and I'm sure these fish don't want to sit in that. I'm sure of it. But what I have done, obviously, because I went in short and never caught on those maggots, literally never had a bite, I thought, well, if I'm not getting bitted out short on maggots, surely I'll be able to fish them long. Oh, that's a little indication. Surely I'll be able to fish them long and not get bitted out, because when you're not catching and you're fishing for F1s, there's only one bait really to fish, and that's maggots. So I've gone long. I started tapping in maggots with my sprinkle pot and got bitted out straight away. It's just like, oh my god. So then I've put my Matrix medium pot on with the lid, with the little rimmed lid on. Potted that in, caught a roach. Potted it in, caught a roach. Roach again. And then all of a sudden, just out of the blue, I caught 2 big F1s. Just doing that, just caught in maggots. And I thought, well, that's obviously the way to go. And then I've caught those 2, and I thought I'll start filming again now for you. And it's gone away from me again. All I can catch doing that now is roach after roach. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep fishing like this for a few more goes, because I'm not getting totally bitted out. I can sit there and wait. And then really the only thing I've got left in my locker is to go back out to 16 metres with pellets, try that again, and then really the last couple of hours I've got where I'm throwing these maggots, but I'm not overly convinced that's going to be good. And I have got an edge line to my left where I've potted some pellets, some micros, but I'm not sure. Without sounding negative, this is just the pinnacle of winter fishing. Sometimes when you're fishing for F1s, bream, you just get days where there's not a lot you can do. It is a shame, because I've had a brilliant run here at Redhill fishing. Like, I caught £94 last week. I caught £60 odd the match before. But just like the guy to my left, the closest guy to me, he's not had a bite, and the closest guy to my right's not had a bite. It just shows that I just feel like this water pumping in's just pushed everything away from this end of the lake. I'm just going to keep going for a minute with these maggots, because it's just weird. Why would you suddenly catch 2 doing this? and then just gone again. It's really, really weird. Just all of a sudden, like I was catching roach, and then all of a sudden gone boom, boom, caught 2 big F1s, both £3, and then back to roach again. See, look, I can sit there. It's not like I can't get my float to the bottom. I can sit there and wait without hooking a little roach, but the concerning thing is if I sit and wait and eventually it does go under, at the moment it's a roach. A lot of people try and bread today, but I can honestly say I haven't seen a fish caught on bread. I reckon it's probably down to this colour. It's just like a red mud colour. I think by the sounds of things, the lake above is fishing quite a bit better, because all I can hear is people splashing, people fishing, catching fish. Like realistically on this lake, you've got Tony down the bottom, who's probably got 10 decent fish. What's he got now? 30 to 40 pound. And I reckon I'm probably second with about, what have I got? 12, 15 pound I reckon. Got 1 carp and 3 decent F1s, and then probably 15 of those stockies. But it's weird though, because you would have thought tapping in these, potting in these maggots now, if I didn't catch an F1, I would just hook a roach, and this chuck I haven't hooked anything. Tough day though, really, really is a tough day. Like, I'm not sure if this is going to make great watching today, but this is the reality of winter fishing. This is just what it's like. You can't expect to go every week and just catch loads of fish. It's just like the last 2 weeks I've turned up at Gold Valley, drawn 104 and then drew 104 again. That float's just lifted up there. Roach. Not caught loads compared to the other guys on the other end of the lake. And then this is looking to be the same today. The only good thing is, Tony's winning, but he's probably got 30 to 40 pound. Right, if I can just sort something, I don't know what, and just put a few fish together, you never know, but I don't know, I can't think of anything. I haven't really got much in my locker now, to be honest. Don't know what to do. Like Mark, one on Wednesday, caught just under £100, 99. He's over on peg 5, and I thought, he'd be really difficult to beat today. Like, he won last Wednesday, and that's a brilliant peg. That's where they're all topping, and I don't think he's had a fish. I think he's blanking. Tony's down there, like on 9, just fishing long, tapping in pellets like what I've shown him on my coachings, and he's walking the lake, absolutely walking it. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this another couple of goes. It's definitely not right. I did catch 2 F1s though, that's the weird thing. Alright, so I might carry on just putting a few maggots there. It's just lifted up again. It's got to be roach, that. I think what my next step has got to be. It's so frustrating. My next step has got to be just to go back to 16 metres, tap in some micros, and have another go. But it is fishing extremely hard. The problem is what we got at the moment in England. It's just a nightmare, this weather. Like, 1 minute it's like -6, -3, -4. Then like within a day or two, it's like 10 degrees and torrential rain. It's got to be roach, that. and these fish just don't like it. I think it would be better off if it was just freezing cold for a long period, or rain for a period. You know, like all this, like 1 minute this and 1 minute that is not. It's definitely not good for them at all. I'll just go back out like feeding. No, actually, I'm going to feed because that was definitely roach then. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have 3 more goes with maggots like this. And then I'll go to 16 metres and just have another go of pellets, just a random go. And then the only other thing I can do, if I can't catch at 16 metres on pellets, the only other lines I've got really that could come good late is my maggots there. Or my edge line with pellets down to my left, which I have fed once already. But I might feed that again in a minute. Oh, that looked like a more positive bite. I thought that might have been an F1. All those roach bites were just lifting the bristle up, but that one just went straight under. I thought that might, just for a second, I thought that could be an F1, but obviously not. No, that's lifted up now. Whole bristle's out of the water. You just know that's going to be a roach. Come on, just give me another. No, I don't think that's going to happen now. That line, I caught those, obviously those 2 F1s, but they're not like responding to it. They haven't kept coming to it, like I've caught 2 quick and then nothing again. Frustrating day. Every single fish I've seen top today has been like between like peg 4 and peg 9 in that corner. Not taking anything away from Tony, but that seems to be where the bulk of the fish seem to be today. Oh, a slightly better fish. Is still not a left one. Right, so what I'll do, I'll have a go at 16 metres on pellets. Keep feeding my maggots by hand. Keep feeding my pellets up to my left, and then just keep working at it. But I've got to just feeling today is just going to be one of those days where there ain't a lot you can do. You know, it's not like you're blasting in casters and fishing shallow and you can feed more and be more aggressive than other people. It's just not like that today. Just going to pop some pellets down the edge at about 11 metres. Up to that pallet. And what I'll do, I'll keep throwing those maggots in 3 foot. I'll have a go at pellets at 16 metres. And then I'll have a go up there when the time comes, and if none of that works then I'll wrap up and go to the pub. Right, so I'll keep this one very short and sweet. So basically we've got an hour to go. And I've got to be honest, I've tried absolutely everything I could think of. So after I last spoke to you, I think I was fishing maggots, and then I went back out to pellets, never had a bite. I've come back into maggots where I've been throwing them in 3 foot, never had a bite. I tried that edge up to my left, never had a bite. So basically I've tried everything that I can possibly think of. It's took me like 4.5 hours, but I've concluded that there's not a lot here. Basically, oh God, I'm even striking my pellet off now. Jesus. So basically the lads at the other end of the lake, Tony that I coach and the lad next to him, Tony's caught pretty steady all day, and the lad next to him just to his left, don't know if you can see him, but he's just netted one then. He's might have caught Tony up now in the second half of the match. I can see what they're doing. They're both fishing long with pellets, exactly like what I've done, and they've had a load of bites, so fair play to them. But this is for me, it hasn't been the greatest of day. I'm not sure whether this water that's gushing into my left down here, this pipe, has pushed everything to the other end of the lake, or just generally this isn't a good end of the lake. I don't know it well enough. Like when I drew, Andrew Mann said it's really not a very good peg in the winter, and obviously I've got that water gushing in, so it might just be a bit of a combination of two, but there's definitely, unfortunately, not a lot of fish at this end of the lake today. The kiddie to my right has caught 1 fish. Kiddie to my left, I think he's got 2, and then it gets good, and they've all caught a few at that end of the lake. But that's the humbling reality of winter fishing, especially when you're fishing for carp and big F1s. In the winter anyway, you can't expect to go every single time and catch a load of fish, because they just show up, same as every fish. You look at Viaduct, Tunnel Barn, places like that, it's all the same. And to be honest, today's made me realise what a great run I've had here. Last week I caught £95, the match for £60 odd. And then like all those matches through the summer, just come here, fish casters, shallow, sack up. You just take it for granted how good the fishing is until you come here and draw a peg like this today. Water gushing in, wrong end of the lake. And you don't really catch a lot at all. But that's fishing for you. That's what we got. Yeah, exactly an hour to go. I can't see me catching anything this last hour. I just felt like my pegs got worse and worse and worse as the day's gone on as well. Like I started short, caught one, went long, caught some stockies, then I hooked one. And then I went to my right, I hooked one and it went in a snags, and I was thinking, yeah, it's tough, but it is all right. And then it's just gradually, my peg through the day, it's just got worse and worse and worse. My float's moving with the tow from that water gushing in as well. So yeah, but that's fishing for you. I'm really properly looking forward to it warming up now, and the fish spreading out and start eating a bit of bait. Just seems everywhere I go at the moment, there's just like areas of the lake where there's not a lot of fish, and there's areas of the lake where there's a lot of fish. I went to White Springs, drew the right area of that lake, caught a load of fish. Oh, another stockie. Yep. I come here last Wednesday, and drew the right area of that lake, caught like 90 odd pound. But then I've been going to like Gold Valley, and I've drawn the wrong end of that lake. Come here today, drawn the wrong end, and there's not a lot you can do, because you're not really feeding any bait. And like you can be more aggressive than people and draw fish in your peg, fish further, or be more accurate. It's not hard to be accurate with a kinder pot. So yeah, it's not a lot else I can say, to be honest. But yeah, it's still been a nice day. The weather's been amazing, and nice to dry all my kit out after last Sunday. But I really do think the reason why this is fished harder, a lot harder than any other time I've ever been here, is this colour of the lake. It's like a red colour, like brown, thick brown red colour, and basically when I chuck my keep nets in, you can see all the sediment in the water gathering on the nets, and that ain't good. 100%, that's not good. You can imagine all the fish feeding and swimming around and all that sediment going into their gills. They're definitely not going to like that. It's the same on natural venues. I've fished rivers before in the past, and you get rain and then you get that sediment in the water. They really don't like it. You just don't catch anything. Just going to tap in a few more micros, see if I can catch another little stockie. At least these stockies have kept me a bit entertained today. If it weren't for them, I'd be probably be in the pub by now, because I really don't feel like there's any decent fish in my peg here whatsoever. Guarantee you, if we would have come here today and the water would have been fairly clear, and that water wouldn't have been pumping in there, not saying I would have won, because I still don't think this end's the better end, but I still reckon I could have put a weight together. I don't know whether they can't find the bait, or they can't see it, but this chocolate horrible brown colour. I fished a festival at Aston Park probably, what was that, 6 weeks ago, and that was the same colour as this, like a thick brown chocolate colour, and that fished awful as well. Well, not awful, like harder than usual. The only good thing is about today is it's definitely highlighted to me, like the way I do fish when I come here. Just fishing long, tapping in micros is bang on. Like, you look at the lads that have caught a few today when they've been on fish, exactly how they fished. It's not rocket science at all. All you've got to do is tap a bit of bait in, sit there with your float dotted right down, so you can see every tiny little indication, and just be nice and patient, replumb up, move about. Right, what I'm going to do, 55 minutes to go, I am going to drop in on those maggots again. Tell you what I might do, I might pop up some pellets up that edge, then go on my maggots, see if I can get a bite. Hopefully catch an odd fish, whether it's F1s or not, I don't know. And then I've got to have a look up that edge. And then that might bring me to about half hour to go, and then the last half hour I might just fish out here and just see if I can catch one more F1. But I think winning or doing any good today is beyond reach now, to be honest. See that? I don't know if you can see that. A fish is just topped there. And that's the closest fish I've seen topped to me all day. Everything's just topped like peg forward downwards. Right, go on, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some pellets in that edge. At 11.5 metres, have a go on maggots. Have a go in the edge, and then if I don't catch anything on those two lines, what I'll do, I'll go back out long, and I might film again just for the last 5 minutes and try and get you one. Fucking shit bit. Right, so we have got about 7 minutes of the match left. I'd love to tell you in the last 45-50 minutes since I last started filming that I've caught 10 carp and my peg's come alive, but I'd only be lying. Oh god, no, I've just literally caught nothing all day. Alright, I've had an odd bite from a stocky. I think I've got, what have I got now? 3 F1s and 2 little carp. It hasn't been very good at all. Like, I carried on fishing 16 metres for a bit since I last spoke to you, and then I tried my maggot line where I've been throwing maggots all day in 3 foot and I never had a bite. I'm just like, what the? How can you not get a bite on that when you've fed it all day? It's just like, Just feel like there's nothing here. And then I tried in the edge up to my left, up to that pallet, but I wasn't expecting a bite there with all that water gushing in. Never had a bite. And then went back out long to 16 metres, and I think I've hooked one stocky, one little tiny stocky. So not the most exciting day, but a very humbling day. I was starting to think it was easy over here, but it's definitely not. You still have to draw the right little areas, and you have to do it dead right. I'm happy I've had a fish today. Like, I've tried everything I could possibly think of to try and generate some bites, but nothing's worked. It's the first ever time I've come here and not like gone just in the winter, gone to 16 metres. Like all those coaching days I've done, all I've granted obviously coaching days you can pick your pegs, you go and sit on the best pegs, but and the matches I fished, like I fished 3 or 4 through the winter, you just go long, 14, 16 metres, tap in micros, fish with a 4-minute expander on. Normally you catch a load of fish fishing like that, F1s, carp, big skimmers. And then like last week on Tilly's, I chucked maggot short, dropped in on that, I caught a great big F1, a big perch, a big skimmer. Like that was a really good line as well, but nothing's really worked today, but I'm sure it's got to be something to do with this water coming in, it has to be. But I tell you, like obviously Tony and the young lad up to his right next to each other over there, they've caught well. They're both, I don't know what weights they'll have, both have 40 to 50 pounds. Maybe a bit more. They've caught some carp as well. But I've got to be honest, no one else has really caught anything. Like Mark over on 5s, like I've seen him catch 2 or 3 fish, but I know at least one of those was foul hooked. And then the kiddie up to my left as well, Welsh lad. I think he's had 2 smaller F1s. I've got 5 or 6 fish, so I'm probably third on this lake at the moment, but that's about as much use as a chocolate fire guard. I thought what would happen here, if I just carried on going at 16 metres, a few fish would come this way towards the end of the match. It's got to be that water's just stopping them coming up here, because they're just sat so tightly down that end of the lake. But there's so much sediment in the water, and I think that water that's gushing in is kicking that sediment up off the bottom and putting it in mid-water. That's what normally happens on matches like this, where you get a ball of fish, like late on normally they spread out a bit, and like the people that haven't caught them through the day normally catch them late on, but not the case at all today. I'm not going to keep waffling on, because, oh, was that a bite? Oh, I had a bite then. Might have been a stocky. I'll just fish for about another minute, try and get you one. Yeah, stocky. Oh, is it? Oh no, hang on. Oh yes, I got you one. I can't believe that. Caught nothing all day, and then, unbelievable. Actually got you one for the camera. That's what I've been doing all day. I haven't really been trying, unless I start filming. That's going to be a great big F1. Yeah, look at the size of that. Oh, it's such a shame. I love it over there. It's so good. Look at the fish. Such a shame today's not worked out. Look at the size of them. That. Right, we've got 2 minutes to go. Let's quickly chuck a hook length on. See if I can just get you one more before the end. I don't think I'm going to have time to get out, to be honest. I'll have a go there. This guy that's organised it might not be looking at his watch. Right, oh, I'll make it time. I reckon it's done. The match is done. They've not called out there. Come on, one more bite quickly. Come on, come on, come on, come on, go under. There. Oh no, I missed it. No. I thought that was going to be on. Come on. God knows what this organiser's doing. Oh, there we go. Got one. That's unbelievable. Caught nothing all day and then 2 in the last 6 minutes. That is unreal. I just said to you about that ball of fish move out, don't they? Spread out real late, and that's what's happened here. Guarantee you. That big ball of fish. Oh, I don't know if that's foul looked, you know. I don't know if that's foul looked. It might pop off that one. But they've definitely spread out. Right, that's it, all out. Yeah, foul looked. But it was foul looked, but that just shows you that there's a little scale on the hook. That I think what's happened there, like the last 7 or 8 minutes, a few fish have come down to me, but that's been way too late to do any damage. But I think Tony win, the guy to his left to be easily first and second, but I'll be third on this lake, I reckon, even though I haven't caught a lot. And I think they might be doing continental payout, so I don't know if they're paying top 2 on each lake. I don't think they'll do that. Top 3 on each lake, top 2 I would have thought, but yeah, it's not quite worked out how we wanted it to, but that's the curse of the camera and winter fishing, humbling winter fishing. Right, so just got back from Redhill, obviously. I was going to do the roundup on the bank after I weighed in, but I started chatting to Andrew and Tony, a few other the lads on on the match, and before I knew it, it was like 5:30, and it was starting to get dark, and the wife was calling, so I thought, get out of there and get in the garage and do the roundup. So yeah, so basically what's happened, I've had in the end £21, which was obviously no good on the day. Tony and the guy next to him have both had like 41 and 48, so well done to them, they've done brilliant. But the rest of the lake's been quite tough. Like Adrian's had £11, and he won last Wednesday, caught like £90 last Wednesday, so that showed to me that how much more difficult it's fished today. Guy next to me's had one F1, not weighed in. I've had £21. That guy, the guy to my left's not weighed in either. And then there was a 41 and a 48. So there's obviously a few fish at that end of the lake, but that's like the deepest end of the lake, and it's like the furthest point away from that water gushing in to my left. So I'm not sure I don't know if I've done something wrong, or that water gushing in and that end of the lake has made a difference. I'm not sure really, but all I know is that I've taken Tony on like 3 coaching sessions, and he knows exactly how I fish, and that's what I think he's done today. And he's come first or second on lake, 40 odd pounds. So I know it's half right, and I've always done well there. So yeah, it was not too disheartening at all. Just didn't feel like there was loads of fish at that end of the lake. All the lads either side of me would have caught some as well. So that's a good way of judging it. I'm not just going to say, like, oh, because I didn't catch any, there's no fish at that end of the lake. Like, you look at the other lads around me, they've not caught either. So that's a good way of gauging it for me anyway. But yeah, no, didn't learn a lot. Not a lot happened really. It's just a difficult time of the year, the winter. It can be very humbling at times, definitely. Like, you think of all the matches I went there through the summer, caught like 300 odd pound most times. And then I went in the winter, caught like 90 yards, 60 yards. And then just when you start thinking you got it all sorted, fishing's got a very, very quick way of bringing you straight back down to earth. So that's what's happened today. The one match I decided to film there, that's what's happened, which is fine, because that's reality. That's the reality of winter fishing. It's very, very humbling. But I've got a nice day tomorrow, out with the Sonyu boys tomorrow at Redhill Fishery. Just doing a bit of pellet fishing there, similar to today. Hopefully catch a few more. Day off Friday, get all my stuff sorted. And then Saturday, group coaching, Redhill. We're on Tilly's Lake, which is slightly better lake, I would say. And hopefully by then the colour would have dropped out a touch. So that should be brilliant. And then Gold Valley on Sunday, which is the 3rd round of the Rushmore. Which hopefully, fingers crossed, I can go and not draw 104 again, which I have the first 2 rounds. But I really need to start putting a bit of weight together on that league, because I've caught like £55 in 2 matches, which is no good really. Like, I've been first and second in my section, which is, if it was on points I'd be happy with, but it's not. It's on weight, so I've got to start drawing a couple of decent pegs and start putting a bit of weight together. But that's easily possible. Go there the weekend and draw 119 and 118 around there, some pegs on gold. That's easily possible. Start putting a few fish together. So yeah, it was not the best of days, but definitely not the worst. Weather's been nice, managed to dry a bit of kit out, learned a little bit. But yeah, not a lot to report, but that's the reality and the very humbling side of winter fishing. On to the next one.